Look, I'ma wake up in the AM, I'ma count my paper, and I'ma put this cell out, I'ma save a clip for later, and I'ma pour a 40 on the dirt for all my haters, and I'ma make
Welcome everybody to episode 16. 16. That's 116.
Scotty was calling it the Sweet 16 episode.
Sweet 16. That's a good. I like that. Sweet 16.
It's not original. People say that about a lot of things.
Yeah, but this is pretty sweet. This is pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, we got big old Dave Simons in the house tonight.
Very special guest. Very special guest. I've been waiting to do this for quite some time. I have to say, I'm
Like a week and a half.
very excited. Nah, it's been way longer than that. We've been waiting for the right timing, and the stars have aligned, and Dave is in the building.
We're very excited. Lots of topics of conversation tonight. Dave is a
What is
well-versed
he?
individual. I think he's part Jewish. I think that's one thing he is.
No, I am Jewish,
Okay.
but I'm getting dunked for a baptism on Saturday.
You
So
getting-
I'm not Jewish.
Well,
I'm on the fence as of today, but it's Saturday as we go further from there.
so that's this Saturday.
This Saturday.
So what the fuck happened that you decided to? Because it's almost like expatriating from a country. Like, say you like live in America, then you expatriate and go to another country. You're pretty much doing that with a religion. So how the fuck does
Is
that
there a
happen?
process?
No, there's no process. So
Do they pull your Jew card?
I believe that the Jew card is pulled. No, it's not pulled because like my family's rabbi came to me like a week ago when I'd already made the plans to get dunked, and he said to me, he said to me, I think you're doing real well and stuff now, and I'm gonna like vouch for you so you can go on this birthright trip to Israel. And I like in the back of my mind thought to myself, well, shit, Rabbi, I'm getting dunked next week. But
You didn't tell him.
no, of course I didn't tell him. I wouldn't tell him. But I talked to my spiritual advisors about it, and they say, there's nothing wrong with the trip to Israel. So basically, I went to church like a month and a half ago for the first time, and I had a really cool experience there. And it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And since then, I've joined a Bible study, and it's very interesting to me. And I have like a connection with Jesus that I don't have.
Why can't you keep a straight face?
Do you see how he swallowed before he said with
Because there's still
Yeah, no, I could
there's
I
still
could
some
im-
resistance,
I could imagine that.
you know.
I feel like we should give a little background here, because this is like, for the people that don't know all of us personally, we live in Ventnor, New Jersey, which is a big recovery town right next to Atlantic City, and recovery from drugs, that is, to make that to make it to be specific. And so there's a lot of people down here that come from different areas, different parts of the state, sometimes even different parts of the country. Why you'd pick New Jersey, I don't know, but it happens, right? I mean,
Pizza.
there's countless sober livings around here, and Oxford houses, and there's a lot of rehabs around here. Brian's not from this town. I'm not from this town. Scott's not from this town. But Dave is a local here.
Local yokel.
He's a local boy. So, man, that's like, I don't know. People know Dave, don't they? Do people know Dave?
Are you
Do
asking?
people-
Are you asking Dave?
I'm asking Dave. Do people know of Dave?
People know of Dave. Yes,
That's cool.
usually
What is-
not in a good way, but more recently in a good way.
Yeah. No. I would agree. I would definitely agree. What is it like being from a town though that is full of recovery and full of like, I don't know. What is it?
It's like it's a double-edged sword, and I'll tell you why. obviously there's the whole, like, you grew up and did your thing around here in Atlantic City, so you know everything and everybody that's not doing the right thing. But at the same time, you have, like, this little bit of extra support. I mean, I know a lot of guys that are down here from different parts of Jersey and, like you said, the country, and my family's a mile and a half down the road. You know, so I have that, like, little bit of extra support from them and from the people in my life that when I came up I didn't do anything bad to, who are just happy to see me doing well.
Right.
Having said that, you get, like, strange things that'll happen to a local guy that won't happen to people that aren't from this area. For example, the third step prayer in Alcoholics Anonymous, I had to get down on my hands and knees, hold my sponsor's hand, and recite that third step prayer. Now, my sponsor wanted to do this at Starbucks in Margate, which was all fine and good with me, except for the fact that when he asked me to get on my knees and hold his hand, we were 6-7 feet away from my 5th grade teacher. And initially, he said, you know, he got down on his knees and, like, reached up to grab my hand, and I'm, like, looking at her and looking at him and looking at her and looking at him, and I said, like, I'm not doing this right here. But it went back to that whole willingness piece, you know, like, what are you willing to do to get this? So I proceeded to get on my knees and hold this guy's hand and chant out loud with him, and you know, Miss Adams hasn't looked at me the same since.
You didn't
Miss
ask her to
Adams.
join in?
Yeah, I dropped her name. No, I didn't ask her to join in. As a matter of fact, she didn't even make it until the end of the prayer. She looked at me, raised one eyebrow, and got up and walked out.
No way.
Yeah,
For real?
I've seen her a couple times. I've seen her at the post office, and there's still, like, that awkward, like, I don't know if I even say hello to her at this point, because part of me thinks that, like, whatever mystery is in her head about what happened at that Starbucks that day is a lot cooler than telling her, hey, you know, I'm in recovery. I was doing Alcoholics Anonymous.
I wonder
stuff.
what she even thinks it is.
Right, and that's why I'm probably not going to say anything to her ever, because when she does see me, she definitely stares at the floor, doesn't make any eye contact with me. I wonder if she thinks I'm in, like, the Illuminati or something cool.
She probably just thinks you're like a born again Christian or something,
Which is
you
almost
technically
true.
kind
Yeah,
of
you
are.
are.
Yeah.
Probably like he fucking needs it.
Yeah.
You just like keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
She probably doesn't want to
That
throw him
is-
off anything.
That is funny though, man.
Now, getting back to the converting from Judaism to Christianity, it's a Christian church, right? Like a New Age,
Non-denominational.
but Christian based,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, like, what the fuck do your parents think of this? Are your parents like annoyed that you're doing this? Do they even know that you're doing this?
Are they on the kick drum?
So here's the thing. My parents are, like, real deal hippies.
Right.
Like, my dad, as you guys have seen, my dad has a beard down to his chest and, like, a ponytail past his butt. My mom usually only wears tie-dye unless she's, like, I don't know, at, like, a family function or something. They don't care. You know, I can remember, like, even though my parents are Jewish, they were raised Jewish, we were never raised any type of way. I remember one year they tried to celebrate Hanukkah, and me and my brother, like, we almost killed them, because they obviously they didn't understand. Maybe it was us that didn't understand. But let me tell you about our Hanukkah. On day 1, me and my brother received an Xbox controller. On day 2, we received an Xbox video game. On day 3, we received an Xbox power supply. On day 4, the HDMI cord to plug in said Xbox. On day 5, we got the actual Xbox. I think we got like the old school, like, Jet Moto games or something. Long story short,
That game was sick.
I know, it was great. But I think it was
I
like
had that
day
for
7.
PlayStation.
They had like a filler with like a dreidel and a piece of candy. And then, like, all that I know is that by day 8 we were actually able to play the Xbox. Me and my brother, like, freaked out, and we were like, we're going back, because we had celebrated Christmas. They just found it easier to do that. So, like, we're going back to the old way. Like, this past 8 days has been terrible.
8 crazy nights.
So, I mean, that's real. I mean, so I had a bar mitzvah, right? I had, like, the ghettoest bar mitzvah in the history of Margate, because Margate's like
I wish I attended that.
Oh my God. So ready now, I don't know I'm not allowed to, like, say names or anything. One family in Margate shut down the quarter for their son William's bar mitzvah. I'll use first names, not last names.
The whole quarter.
The whole quarter, dude. The whole quarter. There used to be a 40-40 club in Atlantic City.
Right, yeah. Jay-Z used to have a house in Longport
Right.
when
So
they had that club.
My other buddy, his dad was Jay-Z's attorney for 40-40 club. His bar mitzvah was at the 40-40 club, okay? Now, my bar mitzvah, there was like a little hole-in-the-wall synagogue in Margate, and all my Margate friends, like, showed up. Literally, most of them were wearing dresses that cost more than this entire shindig took to put together. Now, mind you, I'd only been to a synagogue a couple times, so the rabbi, like, you're supposed to learn how to read Hebrew. Like, I did not learn how to read Hebrew. He just printed out, like, sheets off of the internet with, like, stuff that sounded kind of like Hebrew. Definitely weren't the proper way to say the words, but could pass for people that didn't know what was going on in the crowd.
Sure.
I just kind of made these noises up on that high rise thing for a little while, and then my dad took me and my friends into the back, the storage room of this like shitty synagogue, and we had like a pizza party. There was like a drum set and a guitar,
Kick drum.
and I just remember seeing like all my friends dressed up to the nines, like sitting there like really disappointed. You know. Now my mother grooms dogs for a living. I don't know what they were expecting, but
So that kind of brings us to an interesting point. One, I have seen a photo circulating around of you. Was it at your bar mitzvah or your brother's bar mitzvah? The
I
picture
don't
was taken?
remember, dude.
Don't tell me you don't remember.
It was probably my bar mitzvah.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't seen
I'll
the
see
photo.
if I can find it. I'll throw it up at this moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a gem.
But you're talking
haven't
about your
seen the
mom being
photo.
a dog groomer. Your dad had actually a pretty interesting life. He's an inventor, so I understand, correct?
That's correct.
And what was it that he invented?
He invented a restraint system for grooming dogs that he sells to Petco and PetSmart.
Yeah, my aunt has a mobile dog grooming kit, and she said she
Right.
knows your dad from like events and shit. It's pretty cool. It like holds the dog in while somebody's clipping it.
Yeah, it's he does.
You
He
sound
does pretty
so
well.
under enthused about.
Well, this is what I do. This is what I do like all day long. I just go there and put them together and drop ship them out.
Right.
But what's interesting is he does these trade shows. He does 18 trade shows a year, where like to anyone that meets my dad, he's just Chuck from Margate. He has his business or whatever. But at these trade shows, you'd think that my dad was like Lil Wayne. Like they roll out like the
He's the shit, yeah.
And it's not because like he has like a great selling product or anything. It's just because he's so friendly and personable.
Yeah.
And ever since he started doing these things, like I'm sorry if you watch this, Dad. Like my dad smokes a lot of weed, right? So he like hands out like joints to the other vendors and has an igloo, like one of those igloo coolers at his booth, full of Grey Goose and lemonade. I don't know why he puts those two together, but people seem to really like it. And after so many shows, like he's the go-to guy for going out and partying and having a good time.
Well, that's a good strategy. I
It
mean,
is a good strategy.
Tip my hat to the guy,
Yeah,
Mr. Simon.
My aunt said everybody in that business knows him. Everybody.
He's a well-known character,
Yeah.
and they can all thank me for the quality of the weed.
Aunt Carol.
Yeah,
Oh, the quality of weed. Never mind, Aunt
Yeah,
Carol.
no,
Never
no.
mind.
yeah.
I thought you.
Don't do that.
I thought you were gonna say assembling the contraption, whatever the fuck what's it called?
The groomer's helper.
Groomers.
The
helper.
groomer's helper.
Okay.
Might need me to need to get me one of them.
Dude, it's a really good business, and because he's done so well with that, other struggling businesses that have great products but don't have the networking that he does or the marketing that he does, they bring him on and give him a piece just to sell his product at his booths and on his Amazon and on all this other stuff. So he does that. Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Funny guy.
Yeah.
He's a fun guy, like a mushroom.
So I was 13, right? And I was like smoking pot a lot. We're allowed to talk about like that stuff.
Talk about whatever you want to talk about.
We encourage it.
All right,
we do
so
encourage
It's
it.
War Story
Or
Wednesday.
I guess my dad had been smoking like strictly like the reggiest of Reggie since whenever he started
Yeah,
smoking
that's
weed.
what
Sure.
guys back
100
then
years
did.
ago.
Right.
So he comes into my room. I didn't know he was home, and he sees me like rolling a joint. And like I knew I wasn't going to be in trouble because we had been through this plenty of times before, but I knew he was going to take it, and that made me nervous. So like I told him, I was like, Dad, this is a little bit stronger than what you do, and he like gave me the whole like, who do you think you are? Like you're my
Know who you're
13-year-old
talking
kid.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he was whatever. So like an hour or two goes by, my mom calls everybody for dinner, like dinner. I come up, my brother comes up, and then in walks my dad to the kitchen, and he just comes and like sits with his arms on the table like this and kind of looks around at everybody. And like I looked at him and I was like, fuck, dude, I know exactly what's going on here. And he looks at my mom after about a minute and goes, Beth, may I please be excused? And she was like, yeah, like sure, whatever.
He was serious.
He got up and he walked away, and I'm like freaking out, dude. Cause
Did you think he was gonna be mad at you?
yes, I thought he was gonna kill me.
Right.
So another like couple minutes goes by, and I say to myself, like, I got to go see what's really going on here before my mom goes into this. So I said, Mom, may I please be excused? She says, yeah, sure. I get up and I walk into my dad's room. My dad, who has himself fully burritoed in his bed, staring up at the ceiling fan with nothing on the TV. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? And he like can't even move his whole head. He just moves his eyes and like looks over at me and he's like, I don't know what the fuck's in this. You gave me lay shit. I'm gonna fuck you up in the morning. I was like, oh my God, dude, like my life is over. Like that's it.
Right.
This is how it all ends. I remember going down to my room and like sleeping like dressed, ready to go, because my dad would used to like wake me up and like kind of kick my ass some mornings for some of the things I did. But
Probably rightfully so.
I'm like ready for it. The next morning I'm ready to go. And he like shakes me to wake me up, and like I see him and I like jump back real quick, and I thought he was gonna like kick my ass. He looks at me, he goes, that shit's phenomenal. All I want to know, how much is an ounce?
Oh wow.
I was like,
That's good.
This
That's
is
good.
This is gonna be great.
Did that make for bonding time, or was it
Yeah.
kind of just
Probably
like,
an increased source of revenue for you.
Yeah, I mean, he was paying $500 an ounce no matter what. So, I mean,
$5 an onion?
yeah, to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure, I think he probably still pays that for nostalgia or whatever. But,
Great.
yeah,
That's funny.
it got out of hand pretty quickly. I think it was like less than 18 months later, like me and him were like, because he would go to these trade shows in Colorado and he would come back with the brownies with an eighth of mushrooms and an eighth of psilocybin. And I can't tell you why I would end up like in my underwear on my dad's bed with him like tripping on mushrooms watching the news. Like, that was our thing. Like, we're gonna watch the news. We like really, really concerned about like a traffic jam on I-95.
Yeah.
I used to get
What are we gonna do?
when I was in college. I used to get these they were chocolate bars. They weren't brownies. They were like these 3. You know, like how Xanax bars have those little breaks in them.
Yeah.
They were like 3-piece, and they had the little Grateful Dead teddy bear in there. And honestly, and I'm not even fucking around when I'm saying this, it was the best tasting chocolate I've ever had. It was fantastic. Like, if I could now just eat that chocolate, it was phenomenal. But the ones I had a little bit of weed in them too. So it was weed and an eighth of mushrooms. So you got a little bit stoned
Little kick
first,
to it. Right.
and then so you're kind of down from being stoned. Then all of a sudden the mushrooms kick in. I remember I ate these in college one time. Like
Jeffrey. It's no bloke from down the road.
it was like right around this time of year, and all the leaves were changing. And I remember it was like 2:00 in the afternoon, and I'm out front of one of the college buildings, and kids are like coming out of class. Me and my buddy obviously skipped class to eat these mushrooms, and I was walking in circle around this one tree that had these yellow leaves, and I kept hearing like the rustling sound, and the colors looked really cool, and we must have looked retarded, just like circling around this tree. People were leaving class, just like staring us down.
Yeah,
They were banging though.
That'd be trippy. That'd be trippy to see if you were tripping out.
Yeah, it was just
seeing
like
that.
doing a circle.
I mean, you definitely can't go to class after you.
No.
Well, the plan was to not even go to class. We were like, we're gonna eat these mushrooms and not go to class, and somehow we ended up on campus.
My cousin took mushrooms once, ate mushrooms, and walked into sophomore Spanish class. And
That sounds
remember,
horrible.
Remember Spanish?
Yeah.
You had those like when you were trying to learn the words, vocab day, and they put the thing on the projector, and it'd be like soccer and some girls kicking a ball or whatever, like whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? He said
Football.
the projections. Yeah, he said the little clip art would like be dancing and would turn to him and be like, "Mikey, I know you're stoned." And he just like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's that.
I
That'd be pretty cool.
I never had any.
I never tripped. Never tripped.
Yeah, that's honestly kind of surprising. The last time that I ate mushrooms, I was in California, and I had like auditory hallucinations. I was like off my fucking rocker. Probably ate well over an eighth of these mushrooms. I was drunk. It was a funny story, actually. So it was my first night in Tahoe, and I got pissed drunk. I ate these mushrooms, and I was walking down the street about to go into the casino, and I was smoking a cigarette. So I take my last drag off the cigarette, and I turn, flick it. The fuck is that?
Aliens.
So I smoke the cigarette. I turn, flick it, and I'm about to walk into the casino door, and then I see the cigarette butt, which must have went 30 feet, flies up, and a cop car pulls up, and it lands on top of the cop car at the exact same time he pulled up to the casino. So I'm like, oh, shit. So I, like, hustle up into the casino. I throw a couple dollars in the machine, so, like, if he came in looking, like, maybe I could just kind of blend in, and look like I was playing. So I'm sitting there, trying not to look, peeking off these shrooms, too, and I just get a little tap on the shoulder, and I look around, I'm like, fuck. So my pupils had to be humongous.
Yeah.
So then I get this guy who was probably like 6'6", 230 pounds. Why did you throw that cigarette butt at me? Blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, I'm just like this, like stared at him like, oh, man. I'm about to go to jail in Nevada tonight, all fucked up.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So he's like, we had half this, or he takes my license. So then he goes, I hate it when all you tourists come out here, your piece of Jersey trash, think you can come out here and throw cigarette butts on my ground, like lay it into me.
Get out.
So I said to him, I said, listen, sir, with all due respect, I did throw that cigarette butt on the ground with all intentions of just throwing it on the ground. However, I did not intentionally hit it on your car. I said, that was unintentional. I did mean to throw it on the ground. I said, I'm out here on vacation. The last thing I want to do is get locked up in whatever fucking county we're in.
Where was this again?
It was in Lake Tahoe. I was actually on the Nevada side because that's where the casinos were, but it's on the California-Nevada border. So
Gotcha.
I was in Nevada, and that's where I would have gotten locked up.
Yeah, that's not good.
So he ended up just yelling at me some more, kind of calling me a piece of trash, and then let me go the rest of the night, which was nice.
You were able
Can
to.
you imagine being in a county jail in Vegas?
I wasn't in Vegas, but that would be pretty ridiculous.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was in like the Reno, Lake Tahoe area.
Reno.
Are you missing the on mushrooms part?
Oh no, I get what he's saying.
It was horrible.
Yeah,
It was horrifying because I'm like what happened was I ate probably a half an eighth and then ate like another half or 3 grams before I got there. So like
I know
I
what
was
you're saying.
fucked up.
I know what you're saying. I wish I could relate more because I don't know what it's like to trip. I've never tripped. I had the opportunity to when I was real young because when I first started smoking bud, I was hanging out with some real hippie people, good people.
Right.
And no, they were really cool people. But I was just always kind of scared. Like I already have like bad anxiety and bad I don't know, whatever you want to call that. Like I've naturally already get anxiety and panic attacks, and I just feel like even though that may calm me down, I might go into it thinking I'll have a bad trip, and that would just set it off. And there's a whole myth about if you do, and I was just like, fuck that. And not only that, but there's this homeless guy from Silverton, from the town I'm from, and Billy Clayton. He actually died a couple years ago, and he's actually from a really rich family and everything. And the rumor is, good old Wild Bill, he took too much acid or shrooms, whatever it was. I'm pretty sure it was acid, and went batshit crazy, and disappeared for like a month. And then somebody found him walking down 95 naked, and they couldn't identify him. He had a beard and long hair. They had no idea who he was. He went to the nut house for a while, and that's kind of the end of Billy Clayton. Came back. He apparently still to this day has an account full of mad money that his family left him, but they had no way to, and everybody just died off. And but that's the story, and whether it's true or not, I'm sticking to it. So that kind of maybe say no, I'm okay with the acid, but
those
somehow found
the thing with
myself
psychedelics,
doing
man,
other
is
things.
if you have any sort of like pre-existing condition, whether it be like anxiety or there could be schizophrenia in you that hasn't developed, you do something like that, especially at a higher dose like mushrooms or LSD or DMT or anything like that, you're going to get off your rocker. I know when I was all jacked up on crystal out there, after the story that I just told you, I started doing crystal after that. And anytime I took acid or anything like that, I was fucking on another planet.
Yeah.
Seeing shit. I would go into like psychotic episodes, schizophrenic too, like hear a lot of stuff that wasn't happening. We talked about that on the last podcast.
Yeah. Well, you're already a few French fries short of a Happy Meal. So I mean, I could imagine. I'm just playing.
Yeah, it's fucked. It's really scary when you're in like a trip like that, and you know that it's like, all right, I'm only 3 hours into this, and it's LSD, and you got another 10 hours of something
worst.
happening.
That's got to be a feeling.
At some point did Ibogaine, so I'm told.
I was just gonna bring that up, man.
So I've never really heard any of your Ibogaine story, and I'd love to hear what the hell
Why don't
happens.
we give a little background on what it actually is, what it's used for, and
Simons?
Okay, so
yeah.
So Ibogaine basically is a flower called Iboga that's only found in Gabon, Africa. This guy was down.
Oh, really?
there.
It's an African plant?
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
that. I thought it was from South America.
The story is that in like the 60s or 70s, I don't remember, and I'm like paraphrasing. This guy went down there to do like an expose or whatever on some of the tribes down in Gabon, and he was on methadone, and it was taking longer to do what they needed to do than he intended on being down there, so he got really sick, and they gave him this flower. So there's the flower, and then there's the root. The psychedelic properties are in the root. They just ground it up, put it into capsules. I don't know how they do it. They probably do tea or some shit. But they gave it to him. They said, we give this to all of our males when they turn 18. It's supposed to rid you of character defects and immaturities and whatnot. But it'll also make you not sick because you're obviously sick from a chemical. So all of a sudden he went from being in full withdrawal to no withdrawal like overnight. You trip for 24 hours usually, like strong trip for about 24 hours.
Now, so you've done it, right?
Yeah, I've done it twice.
So what?
Twice?
Have you
on
done?
two separate
I
occasions?
did it
You've done it?
I did it when I was 18.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did tell me that.
And then again when I was 26.
The funny thing is I talked to Dave, like, it was probably minutes before you went into it, right? I don't know if you even remember, we were like Facebook messaging the whole time. When I was around
Really?
here last time,
I don't remember.
me and Dave like kept in touch, and you were like, yeah, dude, I'm about to do this Ibogaine.
I
blah,
do
blah, blah.
remember now. Yeah.
Yeah. But so it's used now to treat addicts, and the myth is that if you take it, it kind of like you said, resets your brain so that you don't really have too much of a memory of the euphoria.
Well, here's the deal, right? So opiates and alcohol, but mostly opiates. They say that it can work for everything, but it doesn't. That's a myth. It works for opiates primarily the same way that Vivitrol works for opiates primarily and somewhat works for alcohol. So you have what's called an MU receptor, and all the opiate withdrawal is these MU receptors going like, give me more opiates.
Right.
So Ibogaine, essentially what the trip does is it wipes every MU receptor off of your brain. So if you have no receptors going, give me more opiates, you essentially can't withdraw. So
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
so it's not that you can't remember what it's like. Like I can visualize myself doing what I used to do, but it's hard for me to associate a feeling with it because those receptors.
Well, that's what I mean. Like the memory. Obviously, I'm not saying like it's erased from your memory, but the euphoric recall.
Right. So the other thing is, all right. So ready, I go down there, and again, I had done it when I was 18, but when I was 18, I had no intentions of being clean.
Right.
So this was just kind of like one of my parents' like first last ditch efforts at like here's an answer that's not a 30-day rehab. So I went down to.
Is it expensive too?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you got to come up with $3,000 up front, and then you owe them another 9, so it's 12 total.
Another 9 after that?
Dude.
Yeah,
I've
but
Holy
You go to Mexican collections. Who's paying Mexican collections?
Right, yeah, because my family has been so desperate that actually last year, my mom was like, listen, because my mom's boyfriend makes a pretty good amount of money, and she's like, look, like, I've been hearing about this thing called Ibogaine, and we think it'd be like really good for you if you like want to commit. We'll send you to Cancun or whatever, and homeboy will pay for it. So I was like thinking about it honestly, but like that's kind of what it's used for. Is like people get so desperate that they turn to this experimental drug, if you will. You know what I mean? To kind of reset your mind, which is crazy because it's not legal here.
No.
It's not FDA approved.
No.
It's actually only approved in certain places, right?
Yeah, so it started in Cancun in the 80s. And since the 80s till now, it's only been like 10,000 case studies have been done.
Right.
I'm
It's
one
pretty
of them.
rare. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's pretty important we talk about this. Yeah.
Now,
So
how
here's-
is that compared to like ayahuasca?
Right. So
Is
one
that-
thing I was going to tell Joe is that if you've never done mushrooms or like stuff like that freaks you out, like you're not doing Ibogaine.
Really?
Because I've never done ayahuasca. I've done acid and I've done mushrooms, and I'm
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. How does it
telling
how
you
does it
that
compare
it's
to those?
like a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother ball game.
Did you enjoy it? And I'm really
No.
not asking to be funny about it. Like what
No,
what did you experience on it?
I legit wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Really?
I mean, it's not like you might have this thing built up in your head of like, oh my god, that sounds terrible. Because so you got
hold on. I'm thinking. I can't help it. I'm thinking of the fucking picture that you posted on Facebook. of your
when I came out of
your
it?
snorkel.
What?
What are you talking about?
You had a cigarette in one hand and you had the snorkel on, and you said, "Down here in Cancun." As if you were on vacation. You were tripping balls on Ibogaine, snorkeling.
I'm sure he wasn't tripping and using the snorkel at the
Yeah,
same
dude.
time.
Could you just go with it, man? That's what's going through my head. So that's what it was. Leave it at that.
The first, to be honest with you, and the most embarrassing part about that story, and I'll out myself right now, even though you're on the beach in Cancun, you're under like heavy watch. So me and that snorkel went in the pool. No.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Well, the reason I say that is because like it's Mexico, so I'm thinking like, fuck it, let the guys out swim at the sharks. That'll get rid of his fucking opiate problem.
Scare him to death.
But
No, dude.
that's funny. Yeah, no, I mean, that's
So first off, the first 5 to 7 days that you're there, you have to be on morphine, which again I had no problem with. That was,
It's not, dude.
How did they administer the morphine?
they
to you?
have this liquid morphine. Now I got
Sick.
there, and
Sounds
they,
awesome.
Well, no,
That's
dude, you
okay.
drink it. You drink it. So the doctor gave me this cup of liquid morphine, and I was like, nah. Like I know where this is going. Like you guys are supposed to put like a PICC line in my arm. Like it's gonna go in my arm some way, right? He's like, nah, you drink it. Yo, I gotta tell you, Mexican liquid morphine, really fucking strong.
really.
Because I went down there with a 120 milligram a day methadone habit,
Yeah, it's a hefty habit.
and
You still
I
felt
was
it.
I more than felt it. I was fucked up. I was out there again with the snorkel.
Anyways,
Anyways,
find that.
so my first week there was really fun, and then like it became data. Okay, all right. So first of all, they want you to be on morphine because that's the most natural opiate on the planet, and they want you to go under the Ibogaine with the most natural opiate on your receptor site.
Right, that makes sense.
So basically, they take you in this room. There's 2 beds in the room. There's a lady named like Graciela or something. Her job is to sit next to you to tell you everything's going to be okay, and to like wipe the sweat off your forehead like when you're going at it real bad.
She's at every session too, by the way. No matter where you do the therapy. Graciela,
Graciela, dude.
Graciela is there.
All right, so they hook you up to EKGs, heart monitors, fucking all the like,
While you're under the
yeah,
influence.
neural sense. Well, this is before you even go down, dude.
Worse.
But here, just
Got it.
listen.
Oh, okay.
So basically, normally they give you a test dose to see how your body's going to react to it, because they say like 10% of people like can die just from it because it's really hard on your heart. But I had done it when I was 18, so the doctor was like, "We're just going to go right at it with you," and they hooked me up to all this stuff. And basically, the Ibogaine trip is this: you take the Ibogaine, which is like 30 pills, capsules full of ground up.
Oh, really?
Iboga. Yeah.
Okay.
And then like 20 minutes later, they put a blindfold on you, and then they put headphones like this on you with like a bunch of different weird soundscapes, like waterfalls and whales and shit.
Right.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So like 20 minutes goes by, and everyone like takes their mask off and goes like, "This is bullshit. Like nothing's happening." I had done this when I was 18. I knew that like around minute 26, the shit was going to hit the fan.
Oh man.
So basically, imagine taking like a quarter ounce of mushrooms, dropping acid at the peak of like heroin withdrawal. That's how I can describe like Ibogaine.
It's probably pretty similar to being on a 2-week-long meth bender and eating a bunch of acid.
I'm more down with that,
At the
just
peak.
minus the acid
At
part.
Yeah.
the peak of heroin withdrawal.
Yeah, and and again, methadone is 50% half life. So that's if you were to kick methadone on your own, you're looking at about 90 days of hell.
Right.
So
You're crunching that 90 days into 24 hours.
yeah. So you're sweating the color green. Everyone pukes and pisses on themselves. You have
Are you in a room with other people? when this is
No,
going
it's
on?
just me and old Graciela.
Oh my god.
Just
Making
me,
tamales in the
me,
corner.
Graciela, and the whales. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
For a full day.
For a full day, dude. And now here's the thing: like, if you need to get up, you have autoocular dysfunction, which means you can't control whether your eyes are opened or closed. So if your eyes are opened, you've been on mushrooms before where things are like kind of wavy, right?
Yep.
Ibogaine, everything's just a color meshed together. If your eyes are open, you can't see shit.
Right. Okay.
You can't see anything.
Okay.
It's like,
DMT's like that too.
it's insane. And then if your eyes are closed, you're in like a completely different like world, like a different realm or whatever. So if you got to get up to pee, dude, they got to get like Graciela normally can handle like holding you up, but I'm a big guy, dude. They need a Graciela and like 3 of her friends to come in and like.
What were their names?
I don't
Jose,
remember,
Jose,
dude.
and
It was
Jose.
like Graciela, and Graciela.
There's 4 Gracielas.
No, dude, I don't remember their names. Dude, I was on fucking Ibogaine. I don't.
Make it up.
It's the best I could do.
Wow.
Okay.
Lose.
That's nuts. That's nuts. So
That sounds like a nightmare.
So after about like 24 hours, you sort of come to, and even though you're not withdrawing, your body's in like full blown shock.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll like take you outside for a couple minutes and let you like. And here's the weird thing: like when you're done Ibogaine, you have like this weird connection to anything that's like natural. Like I'm not lying to you, dude. I couldn't listen to anything but Damian Marley for almost a month.
that's cool though.
Like I'm dead ass. It was very strange.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got like that, like after on some like pure mushroom trips,
Yeah.
too. It's kind of like that. Molly to a lesser extent. I mean, that's complete chemical too, but
Yeah.
like you have that like serotonin connectedness sort of thing, which is cool about psychedelics like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
I
it
liked
did.
Molly. Molly.
Is
was
Molly
cool.
a psychedelic?
Not really.
Not really, right?
You ever drop Molly and listen to Atmosphere?
Not Atmosphere. Dropped a lot of Molly, though.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't really know what you. I guess it's a hallucinogen, right? Molly. It's
Molly?
really an amphetamine, is
Yeah.
what it is. It's an
Yeah.
amphetamine.
Yeah.
It has a lot of euphoria to it.
Mm.
It's pretty similar to crystal, actually. Crystal meth.
Yeah,
it's,
I would
it's
say
almost
that.
identical.
So about how long ago did you do this Ibogaine therapy?
End of January.
In the end of January?
Yeah.
Of this year?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, so it
okay.
was
I'm
fairly
still-
recent.
I'm
Like
still
I said, I
clean.
remember, right. So you haven't used anything since then.
Nope.
So,
So
But it's not because of the Ibogaine.
right, no. I don't want to get it confused. That's not what I was getting at either. But I think it's, I don't know. I mean,
I still hold a lot of stock in stuff like Ibogaine and ayahuasca.
It
I
has
think
a place.
I think it has a place. And we were talking about in our last episode about the place marijuana could have in the addiction treatment industry,
Yeah.
right? What we kind of talked about last time, like the main points were like maybe it can be used in addition to like a Suboxone program, where when you're going through a detox, that maybe you have like some sort of edible or something like that to help you eat and to help you sleep and to make the withdrawal a little less severe.
Yeah.
There's also the other side of the coin that like if you're gonna do drugs, there should be some sort of withdrawal. Like I don't really think they should take it away because if it wasn't any sort of withdrawal, no one would stop.
Right.
But in cases like you, I mean, I almost went down to Peru to do ayahuasca with my cousin, but I couldn't stop shooting coke, so we never went. You know, because I didn't stay in one building for more than 2 hours at the time. But he was going to put the money up for both of us to go down to Peru and do ayahuasca together, and that was going to be kind of like a last-ditch effort to do it. But like in your case, so you did it, you got clean, and then what happened after that?
Right. So it got me like
It got you
detoxed.
detoxed. Yeah, got you detoxed.
Well, I
Your
was-
physical dependence was now gone.
sometimes, which like is pretty necessary, especially after you've been to treatment a couple times, maybe more than a couple.
Yeah.
And you know, you're kind of not kind of you're looking at life or death. You know what I mean? And so I mean, it's definitely beneficial. You know.
Yeah, it was beneficial, but you know, one thing that it did do for me is it gave me that like those few and far between moments of clarity, where I knew that when I came back, I had to do something different because I was just as crazy. Now, after I was done the Ibogaine and now I'm like stone cold sober, I was being like just as crazy. I came back and on day one, like I picked this chick up and like walked on the boardwalk with her and made 2 meetings, and the next day I made 1 meeting and picked the same chick up on the boardwalk with her, and she was smoking weed, and then I did like things in my car with her, and then like on day 3, like I was ready.
Played the radio.
Yeah, I was like ready to drink.
You tuned in.
You know, I was like ready to drink. So, really, whatever. So I said, I
We're having a moment.
it got me to a point where I had to do something different. So I made like this phone call that I never thought I would make.
We never thought you'd make that call either.
Are we allowed to say Surfside?
No. I
Okay.
prefer if we didn't, but you already did. So it's
Great.
okay.
We could bleep it out.
Nah, I don't like to do that much editing.
All right. So I
It's
got.
just gonna be in
It's
there.
a one button.
There was this place. I'll just go fuck myself.
guy doesn't edit. It's one button, bro. Fuck out of here.
Joe knows.
Not my fault, man.
I'm gonna get a
Look,
shirt
I
that
don't know
says
shit.
Joe knows.
I'm just here as a co-host, and that's pretty much it. Dave, I'm sorry we interrupted you. Please go on.
So I
You're
came back to
important,
America,
David.
and I had to work the 12 steps in order to have any sort of change in my life, which is what's happened over the past like 8-9 months.
Have you worked the 12 steps before, prior to this incident?
Nah. not thoroughly.
Thoroughly, honestly, fearlessly.
No, well, like when I was in Florida, I had a sponsor I really liked, and he had me on the fourth step for a while. And I told him like, yeah, I'm cooking. And I ended up buying a fourth step off of Craigslist for $15.
So this story is
That is
actually,
the greatest thing I've ever
this
heard.
is actually true. This story,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
actually happened. Because when the first time I heard it, I wasn't really sure if I believed it or not. And every
No.
other time since then, I'm not sure if I really believed it. But this is true.
When I first
No
met
shit.
Dave,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
God.
I'm a firm believer.
I couldn't. Go ahead.
No, I'm. I don't know. I think
It started out as like an idea that like
Right.
because I was in this like flop house with dudes who were like some were sober, some weren't. They were always on that like going out for a couple days and then like, all right, let's do this again,
Right.
sort of thing. And then
that
someone,
seems to be the story in Florida.
yeah. So someone was like, dude, just get one off Craigslist. Craigslist has everything. And like I looked it up and there was like 2 or 3 on there, but some guy wanted like $40. I got the one for 15.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I would never think about selling that. I'm about to sell one. I got my room.
Yeah, right. What a market.
So you took fake it till you make it in the most literal sense. You straight up bought somebody's fourth step.
Well,
Did you have to
totally.
change any names? Was it just
That's
like
where I went wrong, dude. It blew up in my face because like I did the 5th step, right? And,
Yeah.
and like
didn't even look at it before either?
halfway through the 5th step, you know, my sponsor was basically like fucking so like I read him one. He was like, oh, so like just like Roger. And I was like,
Just like Roger. Just damn you, Roger. Damn you.
it didn't take him long to realize that like I didn't know not one person on this 4th step.
How fucked up would it be if it was like you were just like reading off the notebook and in 05 I killed nope, not reading now. We'll skip over that one.
I tried to
It's like a
prepare, though.
confession. you
Yeah.
know? It's like a confession really
Yeah.
for people that we have a lot of listeners that aren't in recovery either. A 4th step is I know what it is.
Do you?
We took a fearless and searching. No, that's not it at all, is it?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Fearless and searching moral inventory of ourselves.
That's exactly what it is.
I know what it is. It's just, there's microphones, there's cameras. Sometimes I get a little
Yeah.
off the kick drum.
1, 2.
A little off the kick drum.
Come.
Maybe we should come on the kick drum.
That was smooth.
What,
Scotty we should put the 12 steps. We totally shouldn't, but we should put the 12 steps on the wall here.
Yeah, you're right,
But
Joe.
not-
We should totally.
But we
we should do it, but
shouldn't
we're
do
not
that.
going to.
You should put literal like 12 slats like right across.
Right next to good old OBJ. I know Scotty likes that one. I know Davey does not like
I
that.
do not like that one.
There's a bar in South Philly called 12 Steps Down. I've heard rumors that you can go in there with your sobriety chips and you can cash them in for a free drink. I don't know if that's true, but
Yeah.
the bar is there. I used to walk past it on my way north from South Philly to Kensington. By the way, is a terrible walk.
I feel like anywhere that you go to rehab, no matter what state, no matter what town, there's always that one person that's like, well, there's a bar right down the road. You can go in and, if you give them your your desire chip, they'll give you a free drink, and then they'll put it right on the wall, and they have a whole wall of your desire chips. I'm sure there's a place that does that. I'm sure it's not in most of the towns that people say that, but
It is rumored. It is rumored.
I mean, you hear it all the time.
You do hear it all
There's
the
always
time.
somebody.
yeah. I mean, just like the guy that used to buy dope off of Fetty Wap in Patterson. We all been to Patterson. We've all been there. We've all been to Newark. We've all
I've actually
been to
heard
Canton.
that once before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real. That guy's out there. Maybe that guy.
Yeah.
Maybe that guy has just. Maybe that guy's just been to treatment so much that me and you have both
We've
crossed
Met the same
paths.
guy?
We're
with
talking
him.
about the same guy.
Same damn time.
Just. Well,
That's weird. All right.
So what other I never went to rehab in Florida. My desire
Really?
was to always go to rehab in Florida. However, I didn't have any out-of-network benefits, and I had to stay in the state, which relegated me to Seabrook House, Endeavor House, and fortunately enough, when RCA opened up, I went to RCA.
RCA is so good.
But I would always try
Money.
I would always try to convince my mother to send me down to Florida, but she would read all this shit in the paper about how it was, flop houses and people stealing money and Like, did you have any dealings with patient brokering or anything while you were down there? Did you see that stuff go on?
Yeah, I mean,
Did you see other people do patient brokering? People you knew?
right. I mean, I patient brokered.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you
Quite-
seemed like you didn't want to say it,
quite
so I
a
was
bit.
kind of giving you the out to say you saw other people do it.
I knew it was
I
going
didn't.
on.
I didn't know if that's what you were doing there.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to give you the out.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
the
mean- I
statute
mean-
limitations is. God forbid.
No, I mean, I don't know if what I do would be considered patient brokering.
Did you get paid for getting other people into rehab?
Yes.
Then that's patient brokering.
wait, that's not totally illegal.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
It's not paid. It's a referral.
Yeah, like referral system.
Yeah.
The way he was doing it was probably illegal.
Probably, but just getting paid to get people in treatment, there's got to be somebody that does that shit legitimately.
Right. Well, now the law is, in order to close the loop on that, in order to get someone into the treatment center, you need to also be on salary at that treatment center.
Okay.
What they were doing is that any Tom, Dick, or Harry that has gone through the treatment center as a client,
Oh yeah.
they would say, if you get a person here, I'll kick you back this
Sure.
amount of money. Now, again, I thought mine was a little bit different. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, no, but
exactly
it's
the same.
dude, it's a real thing, and you hear about it all the time, especially in Florida. I'm sure it goes on in other places, but you know, I met a group of people in Florida. I was down there for a very short period of time. It's my
I
first.
didn't know you were down there.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I was in Pompano.
Pompano.
At Holistics by the sea.
Oh.
I detoxed that the right place. Haitian motherfuckers, and they don't play around.
Is that what it was called? The right place?
The right place.
Yeah, that.
I got
What
there and
a
I was like,
name.
this is the wrong place.
Yeah.
No, but looking back, it was probably the best place that I've been to. Yeah, it was just my first time.
As
so
far-
I was,
as far
I was
as what?
super fucking pissed off. I mean, I don't look at when I rate my rehabs and detoxes, which I actually wanted to make its own segment about doing that, but I don't know. I rate them by food.
Okay, obviously.
I rate them by I don't care about the, like, when I'm there, I don't give a shit what kind of program it is. I don't care, you know what I mean, like what you're teaching us, what you're like that. Just comfortability. I'm detoxing. I don't want to hear about God. I don't want to hear about none of that. Food, you know what I mean? How do the rooms look? Do we have TVs?
Yep.
RCA to me
Shit
is,
like
is
that.
the leading.
The
in that.
freedom.
It's top notch.
RCA.
RCA is, dude, it's right there. Like Sunrise and Tom's River.
Yeah.
I've never been to Sunrise.
Dude, that's my go-to, man.
Go-to. It's like you're talking about your barber. Like, who's got the best
yeah.
cut?
I love it there.
Sunrise.
It's
and Tom's
honestly
River.
like
It's
I
the
thought
best.
about like when I was staying on Scotty's couch when I first came back down here, and I didn't know where to go. I was honestly about to just fucking call Sunrise and give them my insurance. If I'd stay there another week, I'd do that right now. I always wanted to go undercover into a
Yep.
rehab or a detox or something. Doesn't it seem fun?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why it does.
Thought of this.
People,
I would do it at RCA.
people
Yeah.
that aren't
Endeavor
quite,
House, I would not do it at.
yeah, well, under the right circumstances, at the right place. But that's what I rate it by. Comfortability, really. Food, I don't know, room situations, shit like that, I guess.
About staff.
Staff is pretty huge because, you see, places I've been to, there's definitely some places I've been to that totally, if it wasn't for the unprofessionalism, is that a word, of the staff, it would be much better.
What did you think about the staff at Seabrook when we were there together? You didn't
No
like
good.
them.
No good.
See, there were a couple.
There were a couple good
Th-
guys.
no,
when
there
I
really
was
was.
there.
Yeah,
Shout out to Daryl.
Daryl. Yeah, Daryl's the man,
Daryl.
dude. Daryl's a really good dude.
Daryl?
Seabrook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Short, black guy.
Somebody called
Pretty
him
diesel.
bobblehead Kanye West.
Yeah.
He always
Wait,
wore the,
yeah.
He always wore the cardigan, and he had the real like Kanye hair, 2010 Kanye hair, and he was. Remember, every time he would take roll, he'd be like, he would, I don't know, call the whole roll, and then he'd be like, Jamal, Jabir,
I do know
Ishmael,
that.
Ishmael Jangalang,
Yeah.
Ishmael Jangalang,
Yeah.
Jabir,
He was, a
Jamal,
good, he was a good dude
Muhammad,
there.
Ishmael Jangalang.
He,
He was.
he's
I love
been
that
there
dude.
forever,
Yeah,
too.
He's a
Yeah.
really, really good dude. That guy.
He was a good
He,
cat. He was a
My
He
first
gives a
time out,
shit.
I was in there. He always took a lot of time to like talk to me because it was my first rehab. He was a good cat.
I like that one.
Ishmael, Jamal, Jabir. No, okay.
Jabir,
Remember
Jamal,
Al.
Muhammad, Ishmael Jangalang.
Was
it-
Al there
what
when
is
you
Al
guys
called?
were there?
Al, one earring Al.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psychopath
South
when he was
He
out.
he's now working. No, he's still there.
in their LTR program.
Yeah.
See?
Long-term program.
Good for
He's
him.
the director.
No, don't get me wrong, but you know what? It's such a big place. There's so many. It's a shame, dude, because facilities get a bad rap because of like it could be one person that's in charge of something. You know, one staff member that makes your experience bad, and I hate that happens. But unfortunately, it does, man. But no, I've been there pretty recently, and it's sad to say. I think they're kind of going downhill.
Seabrook?
Yeah.
Yeah, the program's changed a lot.
I think they're going way downhill, including the food.
Dude,
if anybody gives a shit,
that
It's the worst food in any rehab
All
I've
right,
ever
so-
gone to.
I was first there in 2011, right? In 2011, Seabrook was fucking militant. So my detox, it was after the switch from Oxys when they stopped making 80s, and I had like a 2 or 3 80 habit a day, and I was doing like 10 Roxys by the time I got in there, plus like a bunch of other pills and shit like that. My detox protocol was phenobarb and tramadol. They did not give Suboxone out
Right.
there yet because
Imagine
they were hardcore 12 steps. So when I went there, I kicked this Roxy habit just on tramadol and phenobarb, and it was by and large the worst detox I've ever had in my life. Also, they didn't have any sugar in any of their food. It was all no sugar added. So since 2011 until now, the food has gotten severely upgraded. Why are you two looking at me like
dude.
that?
I'm not looking at you anyway.
Were you there during that period of time?
Not
Yeah,
that period of
Brian.
time.
I actually remember now when me and
No.
when I was there with Brian was super grateful about the food situation.
Yeah, it got way better.
This will always stick out to me.
It's the worst. It's the worst food ever.
But you can't even imagine what it was like. You think it's the worst food ever now?
Sure.
Back it up fucking 7 years to what it was like.
And I'm not.
It was horrible.
It's like
I'm not
steak
doubting
Diane,
that. I'm
steak
not doubting
Christine.
that. Dude, I'll never forget the one. I'll never forget the one meal. Me and Brian go up. The menu for the day. You know how they'd put it out for the day. It said for lunch today. They called it chicken pot pie.
Do you want me to tell them what it was, Joe?
Please do.
So in the chafing dishes there, they had chicken noodle soup with a little Hawaiian rolls.
It was a
on top.
Hawaiian roll with chicken noodle soup just plopped on it. That's chicken pot pie.
And that's their papa.
Dude, they would put the craziest shit together. They'd like one day there'd be rumors like this is how bad it was at Seabrook. People would be like, "Oh, dude, you're never gonna guess what's for dinner. I got the inside scoop. This is what's for dinner. We're having steak and potatoes, this, that, and the other." I'm thinking we're gonna go in there and dude, I don't know. How could you ruin it? They put like some kind of blueberry jelly over the steak. Like, I don't know, dude. They do some weird shit.
Dude.
Here's what I think happened. And that crazy motherfucker back there who's taking care. You know the chef. I know his name. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to embarrass him because I think he's one of us. And I think he's just a couple screws loose. You know what I'm talking about, Brian? Cuckoo boy?
I think so.
Hills have eyes?
Oh, yeah.
I think, dude,
I want to say his name, dude,
This
'cause
is
his name fits him, dude. He's the only white person I've ever seen with this.
It's so true. It's so true. Go ahead, say it.
His
I'm
name's
not gonna
Reggie.
say it.
I
And,
know Reggie. Reggie
yeah.
was there when
I
I
don't
was
think he's the
there.
main cook, bro. I think he's just a hand in there.
I think he walks in 5 o'clock in the morning. Somebody there takes a big old sledgehammer, bangs him over the head, and the first 3 things that he blurts out, that's what we're having. That's what I think. That's how the menu is decided at Seabrook.
When you told me that when we were in there, that was the moment where I was like, I like this guy.
Was that
Yeah, you
was
told
that
me
it?
joke, and I was like,
was-
you know what? I like this guy.
oh.
It was that and the movie thing where you can talk about like movies, and I was like, I like this dude. He's good people in my book.
Yeah, I gotta.
You don't need to do much for me to like you,
appreciate
I
that.
guess.
Appreciate that. But I would say next to Seabrook, and I haven't been to a ton of different rehabs, but I've been to them multiple times. So I haven't been to many state-run facilities, and I always hear people talking pretty badly about Endeavor House or what's the other
I
one?
don't know. Endeavor House isn't even state run.
Is it not?
No.
Okay. Is that the one in Kearney?
Yeah.
There's Endeavor House North, which is in Kearney.
Which
Right.
is
And then there's the long term, which is Endeavor House South, which is in Keyport.
Keyport. That's
Keyport,
right.
right.
The Keyport
What's the
facility's
one-
nice.
What's the one in Patterson? Everybody's always. What's
Oh,
that
there's
one,
there's a
dude?
bunch in there.
I can't believe I can't remember. The
There's
name.
Bergen Regional.
Bergen
is-
Regional, I heard,
in-
is terrible.
It's horrible.
What's the one in Patterson? It's on the tip of my tongue, dude.
Teeth of the lips.
Oh my god.
Straight and narrow.
Is that what it
Straight
is?
and narrow.
Extended
Yeah.
care too.
Yeah,
Straight and narrow is
That's kind
extended
of like
care?
a John Brooks type place.
But
Yeah.
there's a couple of state-run facilities up that way that people are always talking about. You know, and you get the same story from the same type of people. They'll go in there and they'll tell you, you know, if you guys wanna get high, go right across the street. You know, have you heard that? You know that guy?
Yeah, of course.
All right. I don't know. So where was I going with that point? I haven't been to a lot.
I think you were rating treatment centers.
I
at
was
that
rating
point.
treatment centers. I haven't been to a lot of state-run facilities, but I'll give you my top 2 worst in Jersey, and I would definitely say Seabrook as one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And but I would say worse than that. And I don't know how the program is now, but back in 2015, Sunrise House in Lafayette, not to be confused with Sunrise Detox. Any of them, because there's one in Toms River,
Cherry Hill,
There's one
too.
in
Cherry
Lafayette.
Cherry Hill, and Sterling. No, they're not affiliated with each other. It's called Sunrise House. It's a detox and rehab, and it's a mommy and me program as well.
Seabrook used to be like that back in the day.
Yeah, it did, and it's dude, it's up in Lafayette, up in Sussex County, up on the hills where bears are fucking rolling around, up on this big
bears.
hill. In this, it looks like a huge church because it used to be a monastery for monks and then a monastery for nuns, and now it's a rehab / mommy and me program. And they are strict. It's a lot of. I don't think it's state run. I don't think it is, but you get a lot of people, you know, right out the county, right off of drug court and stuff like that.
From
It's
the
a lot of people.
Sounds state run to me.
Yeah, it's a lot of people mandated. I think RCA actually just bought it, so it might be different now. But back then, when I was there, no good. No good. Food? You want to talk about food? There wasn't even a Hawaiian roll. It was
just the
bad. I'm
chicken
not-
noodle
yeah,
soup.
And
that's
I'm
it.
not. I don't want to sit here and bash places that are potentially helping people. Like that's actually
I
what they
always
give a
like-
fuck about. But it was bad.
I always think it's nice. I like to rate my rehab on how fast they let me AMA. And for that, the number one contender is Endeavor House. From the time I told them I wanted to leave, I was at Newark Penn Station in under an hour.
Yeah, no matter which detox I go to, there's always like 3 questions that I ask. It's like, how often do we get to smoke? I don't know the other question, but the other top question is like, where is the nearest projects? Just in case, you know what I mean?
You would ask that.
Absolutely.
When you call them,
No, once I would check in,
Just psycho.
I would. I mean, dude, you never know.
I remember one time when they made that law that you couldn't smoke on any state property or hospital or anything like that in the state of New Jersey, that included rehabs for a little while. And when I was in Seabrook, I heard that law was passing. And then 6 months to a year later, I called and I was like, hey, do you guys allow smoking? And there was this brief period of time where you couldn't smoke at Seabrook House. And they were like, no. And I was like, all right, click. Got high for another 6 months and then went in.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
'Cause, like-
you're not gonna want to go to a place.
No,
Dude,
no
I mean,
way.
come on, it's one thing we can't get high there, really, but we can't smoke. I'm not even a smoker, but during detox, like I need a couple Newports, you know.
I feel
During
you on that.
detox, everyone turns
if I
into a
can't,
smoker.
if I can't,
man.
yeah,
Everybody.
if I can't smoke, and if I can't wear hats, it's a no go for me. I'm not going there.
You can't wear hats at Seabrook.
Definitely
Yeah, but I
can't-
still did.
Yeah, me too.
Son, you wearing your hat again?
Like, dude, what the fuck kind of rule? And I know that seems petty and minor, but to like, I'm a hat guy. You're a hat guy.
I'm a hat guy.
To a hat guy, that's fucked up. Especially you're in detox or rehab, and it's
trying to do my hair.
It's co-ed. You know what I mean? You don't want to be looking crazy. I mean, Seabrook actually did have a barber that would come once every 2 weeks.
He was awful.
He actually cut my hair twice in my lifetime. I've been to Seabrook twice. And one time he butchered it. And this past recent, dude, I was so nervous, but I was like desperate. And he actually didn't do bad.
You remember the haircut he gave me when we were there?
Yeah.
Bad?
No, it was good. Both haircuts I've gotten there have been good.
Yeah, I was-
But my hair and beard
But you were super nervous. And I remember.
Was I?
Yeah,
I
because
don't
I,
remember
mean,
that.
you're a hair guy.
I'm a
You got
hair
good
guy.
hair.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed.
What are your go-to questions?
What, for rehab?
Yeah, because I think his are a little off.
I think
Mine are off.
Mine
I'm,
are,
I'm strange.
what?
Yeah.
So you're talking about what I asked them or what I ask when I get in there? See, it's been so long that I've been to probably smoke breaks. It's been so long that I've been to a rehab that I hadn't already been to before. So like all
You
those
know the
questions,
rundown.
yeah, I don't need to ask. Like I know the deal with all of them. I could probably tell you the schedule at Seabrook House right now.
What's yours, Dave?
Number 1, smoke breaks. Number 2 is
Hold on. Number 2, is it co-ed?
Number 2 is a co-ed. Nah, dude, I go down this and I'm just like, I don't want to waste your time. Let's get through this pretty quickly.
Right.
Number 1, smoke breaks. Number 2 is a co-ed. Number 3, Suboxone or Subutex. Number 4, Librium or Valium.
Does
Number
anybody even do Subutex anymore?
Oh
There's,
yeah.
you know
Really?
what?
They
Now that
have
you're
to.
Dave, now that you're bringing it up, these are definitely questions. Like it's not fresh on my mind
dude,
now
I don't-
because I'm not going through withdrawal or I'm not about to go through withdrawal, so it's not fresh on my mind. But now that you're saying it, these are the questions I asked. You're very much more accurate with
Right.
these. Go
Now,
ahead.
Also, what you want to know, and you don't ask this on the phone, is you want to ask, like, at Seabrook House, you know how they crush up the sub before they give it to you?
Right.
Sure
Now,
do.
if you mention that on the phone, they're going to put a note next to your name. So you don't say, you just hope for the best. And when you get in there, you ask somebody, like, hey, do they crush up the subs before they give them to you? And if they're like, no, they let them dissolve in your mouth, you go to them and be like, okay, here's what's going to happen. I've got a couple packs of cigarettes. There's not enough saliva in between your gum and your upper lip to dissolve any type of Subutex or Suboxone. So we're going to do a little trade, guy. All right? You get that stocked up. Ready? The first time I went to RCA, me and my boy had the place like humming like an engine. Okay? It was like every single day after morning meds, we were just getting deliveries. I left there with a way worse habit than when I went in with. It was one of those times where you're just homeless.
It happens.
You get kicked out of an Oxford house.
Right. You
and,
gotta
like,
go.
Your parents aren't letting you get back in. So it's like, what am I going to do tonight? Am I going to go to the Mission in Atlantic City, or am I going to go put my face under a soft serve machine? So, all right. Now, so you also mentioned staff, right? Seabrook House, there's a couple people that I liked, but RCA has a couple members of their staff that were a difference maker for me. Okay, now,
In a good way.
yes. Now, when I'm on, I don't know about, so when I'm on like the subs and the Valium or whatever, like I get my appetite back like pretty quickly.
Sure.
So late night comes around.
Dude, the food there.
It's fantastic. But late night comes around, the kitchen's closed. They have, and this guy has been a staple at RCA since I've been there. They've got a late night guy, the overnight guy. He like sticks his head in your room to see if you're sleeping. If you're not sleeping, he will ask you, how many plates do you want? Okay?
Really?
I know this guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He has a biblical name.
Mm.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Does it begin with an M?
No. Begins with a
Oh,
J.
What does
Who
it
am I
begin
thinking
with?
of? Never mind.
It begins with a J. But every single night, this guy comes.
Jesus?
This guy. No. This guy comes back into the detox weighing like fucking double fisting it, just plates on plates on plates on plates. And it's like people like that guy. I say, you know what, this is great. Also, there's like a curfew at some places. RCA, you can watch TV all night.
Yeah, if you're not sleeping, they'll go out with you and smoke a cigarette with you too. Like they'll walk you out to the smoke
In the
house,
day
which is
room
nice.
or in your room?
Yeah. At Seabrook, you're just relegated to smoking in the bathroom.
Yeah, they know that's what's going to happen. You know that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
hated Seabrook House.
Yeah, I have
I
plenty of
I
resentment.
always didn't mind going there after the first 2 times because I knew what it was. You know what I mean? I knew I was going to have a bed. I was used to the program. I knew all the staff there, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I did always hold out. I would call RCA first, and if they said they didn't have a bed available, I would get high for a couple of days and wait to see. And if they didn't have a bed available again, I would go to Seabrook.
See, Tom's River.
Sunrise?
Yeah,
That's right up there for me.
Yeah,
That's
see,
neck and neck.
see, it's hard for me because number one, it's a great place and I like it there. It's very comfortable, very comfortable.
Yeah.
On the flip side, it's right down the street from my house, so often I would go there and last 24 hours, especially because I'd always sneak in my cell phone, which doesn't make it any easier.
No, harder.
Dude, that makes such a difference.
Yeah, you're screwed.
If you have a phone while you're withdrawing, you're fucking out. Even if you took
Yeah.
the sub already.
Yeah.
Fuck, I was gonna say something else.
I got one for you, right?
ahead.
So you're talking about state-run places down in Florida, because again, I was in Florida. I was in Florida for 6 years, which is long enough on average every couple.
I
years.
didn't know you lived down there for that long.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was down there for a minute. On average, I would say every year and a half, it would get so bad that I would end up getting what's called Baker acted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Baker acted is like what it's called up here. It's called 302, right? There's
302,
72-hour cycle hold. So I was at a place called the Watershed in Boynton Beach, which is just notoriously just a complete shit show. And they asked me when I got there, they said, would you like to do this, the Suboxone detox or the methadone detox? And I was like, serious question, methadone detox. So 10 days later, I came off of it, and I was on the third floor, the men's floor, and I went to the lady running the floor. Her name was Priscilla. I don't know where she is. I fucking hate you. So I was like, Priscilla, like, call an ambulance. Like, I need to go to the hospital. Something's not right. I'm like 17, 18.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, no, you're just like detoxing. There's nothing wrong with it. I was like, Priscilla, call the ambulance. Like, I need to go to the hospital now. She was like, no, you're just detox. There's nothing wrong with you. I said, Priscilla, I'm a rich white American with health insurance. I got to tell you, I go to the hospital. I'm going to go to the hospital. I want to. She was like, the only way you're going to the hospital is if we Baker at you. I didn't hear her right. I was like, bacon wrap me. What are you talking about? She was like, no, Baker at you. We'll send you to the hospital, but you need to see a doctor before you come back. She left out the 72-hour psych hold part. I was like, fine, bacon wrap me. Set it up. Like, let's go. Let's get this train moving. She goes, well, I can't just Baker at you, Dave. Like, do you feel like harming yourself or anybody else? I looked her in the eye. I said, Priscilla, I'm this close from throwing you out the third-story window. She goes, yeah, you're Baker acted. And I said, you know what? I was like, fuck you. I'm not even waiting. So I take like my shirt off. I start walking down A1A, and a cop comes and draws his gun on me. Freeze, get down on the ground. I said, I walked it off. I feel much better. I'm going to go back now. He's like, no. Like, you're Baker acted, buddy. So
Florida's an old school state too, man.
Yeah.
They're real southern.
they did not play
They
around, dude.
They throw Dave in the padded room. Dave's like,
Here's
where's the bacon at?
Listen, dude. Listen, there's a padded room story coming right
Okay,
up. This is
great.
fantastic.
Great.
Again, you had mentioned in Florida the word Haitian, okay? Now, they took me to St. Mary's Mental Hospital, which is in Palm Beach County, okay? All Haitian. Every single person I met in there's name was John Baptiste III. I swear to God. That's a thing. I don't know what to tell
John
you.
the Baptist.
Okay, so I get in. It's not so much a padded room as it is an observation room. It's definitely padded. I mean, there's nothing you can bang your head on in there.
Right.
So I'm fucking like ill in, dude, and I walk in. This was after 8 hours in the hospital where they held you. Then they brought you to St. Mary's. I walk in this room, and there's like this chick in there. This is a true story. I put it on my mother. There's a chick in there like doing yoga. She looked all right. She was doing yoga. I said to myself, like, this might not suck. I sat down. I was like, hey, what are you in for? I'm Dave. Nice to meet you. She looks at me. She goes, you're a cop. You're a cop. You're a cop. You're a cop. Why are you following me? You're a cop. You're a cop. You're a cop. You're a cop. I was like, fucking A, dude. Just when I thought like I was throwing me a bone, like here she is, like full blown schizophrenic, like freaking the fuck out.
Schizophrenia is no joke.
Yeah,
Well, it's scary. I've been around some people who've been schizophrenic before, and it's
Good friend of
fucked.
mine lost his shit.
So it's like 45 minutes into it, and it's just like you're a cop, you're a cop, you're a cop, you're a cop. At this point, dude, I'm like grabbing myself by the hair, like rocking back and forth, like screaming, "Shut the fuck up!" at this girl. No one's doing anything. And then by like 1 hour mark, like 2 Haitian orderlies walk in with 2 plates, like styrofoam plates of beef stroganoff. Like, here's your dinner. I was like, I'm fucking too sick. I can't eat. They just put it down next to me. She was like, I'm a vegetarian, and you're a cop. 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 Why are you following me? You're a cop. What? And they were like, whatever. They just put the beef stroganoff next to her. She keeps going in on me like, why are you following me? Why are you following me? You were following me. You're a cop. You're a cop. Why are you following me?
What are you saying? Like, what's your reaction?
Dude, I'm rocking back and forth, pulling my hair out, screaming, shut the fuck up. And then I lost it, dude. I absolutely lost it. I took the styrofoam plate of beef stroganoff. I painted her whole face and the wall behind her with beef stroganoff. She screamed the most blood-curdling scream I've ever heard in my life. The same Haitian orderlies rush back in, throw him over their shoulder, hit her in the ass with the Thorazine lean. She goes out. Right?
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good
thank
for
you.
you. Yeah,
It's a
worked
good move.
out.
The
Worked out.
follow-up is even better because they're gone, and then like again, like a caseworker, John Baptiste III comes in. He sits down. He looks at me. He says, we have to. I can't do a Haitian accent. He's
You were pretty good.
He's like, we have to do a file report on what happened here. Like in your own words, can you tell me what happened? I said, John, I'm sitting in here minding my own business, dude. She freaks out, hits herself in the face with a plate of beef stroganoff, screamed as loud as she could. There's absolutely nothing I could do about it. And like I got away with that. And I seen her like the next day on the payphones calling no one. Right? Like, there's nobody on the other. She's calling no one, saying that she's going to sue this place and she's going to own this place. Real quickly, I also met Michael Jackson. I met the Queen of England. I met a guy that every single day, this guy at 12 o'clock would walk in the middle of the hallway, stop, line up the drive,
Yes.
hit the drive,
No.
trail the ball, wait for it to go down, and he'd keep it moving, bro.
God
Okay?
bless. God
There's,
bless.
there's two more. There's two more.
That would be
Rate of play.
There was
right?
a lady
Rate of
for
play.
rate of play. There was a lady notorious for having an imaginary dog. She'd ask you to pet her dog, and then my personal favorite was the person in this place from The Matrix. And every day she would come up. She would come up to people asking her all day. But for me, I was a big guy. She would come up to me during like food time, chow. She would say like, "Is that food or is that a program?" I swear to God, dude, is that food or is that a program? I don't know. Wow. I don't know.
Maybe she was onto something.
A lot of women, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
Which makes sense.
yeah. Michael Jackson wasn't a woman.
She was.
No, he was not a woman.
Oh.
He was not a woman.
That's crazy. That's like what's the movie, man? Nicholson.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Medication time. Medication
Oh,
time.
dude, they wouldn't give me anything. They wouldn't give me anything.
Yeah, I mean,
I
they
love
probably
that
knew
movie,
you
by
didn't
the
have
way.
anything wrong with you.
Well, no, I had the
Just,
watershed bracelet on.
Right.
Oh my god.
So they knew what it was.
I've never been to an actual psych ward, but I've been to like a psych unit. You know what I mean, to get evaluated straight from. I was actually at RCA.
That's a psych ward.
Yeah, but I wasn't with a bunch of cuckoos. I was kind of in my own thing.
Sorry,
what's-
I was signaling Scott. His camera's dead.
All
So
right.
just plug it in.
I was actually at RCA before it was RCA, Lighthouse.
Lighthouse.
It was just called Lighthouse. And I'm detoxing. And I used to go in, Brian, you know this story. I used to go in and sometimes I would take no Suboxone. I would
Right.
say, nah, I just want to kick. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's stupid. Now
Seems
I
kinda
don't
productive.
I don't
nah,
do
it's
that
not
anymore.
It's not that dumb. I've done that before.
I don't
too.
do that anymore. It's more because I have a rough time, and I know everybody's body is different. I have a rough time, a really rough time coming off of the subs.
Right.
No matter what kind of taper I'm on, I don't care how you do it. I have a rough time coming off the subs. So sometimes I don't take Suboxone. Anyway, the point of the story is I went in there not sure how I wanted to detox. And when they offered me Suboxone the first day, I came in lit. And I was like, no, I'm not going to take that because, you know, everybody knows you don't take Suboxone while you're high. Not only that, but you have to wait 24, sometimes 48 hours so that, you know what I mean, you don't go into precipitated withdrawal. Moving forward, I tell her I don't want the sub. Next day comes around, they call me up to the nurse to take my vitamins. They offer me Suboxone again. I say, no, don't want that. Not feeling ready for it. Okay. So the nurse proceeds to tell the doctor to take it off my chart.
Sorry.
So now I'm not prescribed Suboxone. So now I'm really kicking it. It's about day 2, but now it's nighttime, and nighttime meds come around. And I say, you know what, nurse? Nurse Ratchet, I think I'm ready for that dose. And she goes, well, that sucks because, number one, I took it off your chart, and talked to the doctor. He took it off your chart. I said, well, looks like we're going to have to find that doctor. She said, well, it's 8:15. He's home. And I said, lady, if you don't give me that Suboxone, I'm going to go into my room and I'm going to hang myself with my shoelace. That was the last I saw of Lighthouse. Boys came in hot. They took me away. And I proceeded to good old Atlantic Care psych unit.
Did you get a sub there?
Floor 7. No, dude. No. And honestly, dude, being strapped to a fucking chair, withdrawing, bad, dude. Thank God it was only overnight,
You were strapped the whole night?
bro. Until this fucking doctor came in. He asked me 5 questions maybe and said, no, you're okay to go. Just another one, you know? That's the only psych unit
It sounds absolutely brutal.
type deal. Yeah. 3 days. Wow.
Sounds brutal.
Yeah, I never get out before 72 hours. They released me at like 72 and a half hours.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Joey's got all the luck.
I know, right?
Dude, I wouldn't call it that. I wouldn't call it that. But yeah, I bet.
My roommate
real old guy. So everyone in my all the beds were filled. So I had to get thrown into the geriatric unit, the psych ward. So my roommate would wake me up, and it's I know it's not funny, but it's kind of funny. He would wake me up every morning going, "Get up, you don't want to be like me." And I'm just
What?
It's like 5 in the morning.
That's fucked.
And I had to tell him I was like, I gotta get out of this room. So they put me in a secluded room, and dude, it was nuts. He accused me of stealing his clothes. You know that they were in my closet, and it was bad. He thought my dad was Donald Trump just because he had a suit on, and yeah, it was not fun in there, dude. I was like, you gotta get me out of here.
I can't imagine.
It wasn't fun.
Talk about cheek and subs. I forgot to bring this up,
Take a piss.
but Sunrise was the first place that I've ever seen that where they crush your sub up. And that's the first time I've ever seen that. Sunrise only does it if there's word on the block that people are exchanging.
Right, so they do it every day, 365 days a year.
No, they don't, because I've been there where they don't do it. And yeah, it was just a weird thing where they'd be like, all right, well, we're going to do it now. And anyway, the first time I was like, what the fuck are you doing? The fucking nurse was taking it. They put it in they have a little special grinder.
It's called Silent Night.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you know that? Because you know. Because you're.
They have little tiny bags, and they put it in what's almost looks like a press with a
Yeah,
single
press.
arm.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
called Silent Night. I don't know why they call them Silent Night, but they put it in
Good
there
night,
and they crush
motherfucker.
it.
Yeah.
And they dump it out, and I make sure I'm like, yeah, you're flicking that bag 5 or 6 times before you throw that thing away.
Dude, the first time I've ever seen that, the nurse fucking hands me the little paper medicine cup full of powder. I'm like, what is this? She's like, it's your Suboxone. I'm like, well, do you have a straw? What am I, you know what I mean? What am I going to fucking do with this? She's like, no, you just put it in there, dissolve like any other. I hate the taste of Suboxone.
There's a way around that.
Is there a way? Let's hear the way.
Of course there is.
Let's hear the way.
So most people, they just put it back and then throw their cups out, right? You just get another cup from down there that's empty. And when you go to grab this one, you have the empty one right in your hand, kind of palm the one, and then go with the empty one, show her that it's empty, and then walk away with the full one.
Mm-hmm. That's one way of doing
Sneaky
it.
manipulative.
That's one way of doing it.
It's actually a lot easier than cheeking them. See, they think they're pulling one over on old Daver.
Yeah. I
Ain't
always
no one
think
getting
it's.
one
I
away
think
on
it's so
Sundays.
funny how people are like you know how sometimes you go to detox and you just have a bad fucking time at detox, but sometimes you go and it's actually not bad. You have a good spades partner.
Yeah.
Right.
and,
That's important.
You just have the inside scoop on with the kitchen. It's almost like, I've never done prison time, but from what I could see on the movies, it's almost like, you know what I mean, getting hooked up. You got your little. Found your little niche there. Yeah. But
When we
it's
were in Seabrook, it was a good time. We had a good time there.
yeah, that was actually just a good. You
Good
get
crew.
lucky with just a good group of people.
Yeah.
And I mean, Seabrook was a shit show, but if you're in there with a good group of people, sometimes you're just in there with some lames and it's just fucked up and
So in Seabrook, the
spades
men
is
in,
important too. Sorry to cut you
Go
off.
ahead.
No, spades is important too. Some places you can't play cards. Dude, spades makes detox go by so quick. Spades is so important when it comes to detox. But I get it. Gambling, whatever.
Right.
Proceed.
In Seabrook House, the men and women are separated, but you'll still get I'm going to out myself here. This is really fucked up. They did this to me.
Sure.
You'll get a pen like this with a note in it, or they'll pass notes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when you were saying sometimes you get the inside track, in my experience, I've either done really, really well in detox and treatment, good group of friends, or everybody fucking hates me and I'm the biggest loser ever.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
Yeah, it's
one or the
other.
Me too.
So I went to Seabrook House the very first time, and I guess they just didn't like me, whatever, because there's this really hot chick that's in there, and everyone's talking about her, or whatever, and then I get this note from her, dude, and it was saying some really
Dirty things.
Risque.
some really risque things, and I thought
like that word,
I thought to
risque.
myself there's nothing weird about
Risque.
this,
Right.
I'm looking good. I just came off a nice fucking 6-month run,
Absolutely.
of course she's into me. Why wouldn't she be?
Exactly.
So I took this note and I went ahead and I wrote my own. I wrote my response,
Mm.
and I
Which
figured
was it even worse?
I figured she was at an 8 with the naughtiness. I need to go to about a 10.
Turn it up a notch.
So
Oh, I can't wait.
I like walked by her in the hallway or whatever, and I like fucking like dropped it in a place because I like stopped her friend. I like dropped a note. She like got it, and then like a minute and a half later, like this girl like walks by me. She goes, "You're a fucking creep," or she said something like, "You're a creep," or something like that. And I like walked in. You know how they have like the men's like lounge that's right there. I like walked in and I like had this look on my face, and the one dude was like, "What's up, dude? You didn't send her the note back?" I was like, "I did," and she called me a creep, and everybody in the room started laughing because they wrote the note.
Damn. No. Oh, that's terrible.
Dude,
I'm
so
sorry,
That's
dude.
good though.
So,
That's
like,
a
there
good
was-
joke.
There
I'm
was-
sorry. Did she finally find out though?
Yeah, she didn't care, dude. I'm still a fucking weirdo that wrote that weird shit to her. Like,
Man, I'm sorry. That
there's no coming back from it, dude. It didn't matter how good I played guitar in the talent show that year.
Right.
I like that guy. That guy's important. That
Oh,
guy's
yeah.
important.
Yeah, the guitar
Yeah.
guy.
Ben on the kick drum.
Come.
No, I don't know. No.
So
Ben.
rehab killers, right? If you want to make sure it goes over real well in rehab, you need to learn a few songs. Number one, Simple Man knocks it out of the park
That's
every
dude.
time.
Simple Man. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that number 2 shall be Nutshell.
I don't even know Nutshell.
Alice in Chains.
Yeah, no, I know the song. I know how to play it.
Oh,
Simple Man, Hurt by Johnny Cash,
regular.
Creep by Radiohead,
Regular.
Drive by Incubus, Anything by
Regular.
Nirvana.
Anything.
And of course, did I already say Wonderwall? Because that's like pretty standard.
Oh my God. That's a good one.
That's the lineup. And Under the Bridge by Chili Peppers.
Oh, how did we
course.
miss that?
Of
How did
course,
we miss
of
that?
course.
Yeah.
Those are like go-to rehab music therapy songs, though. But
they're
if you
the
could play it
worst.
on guitar, they're definitely,
and
different
that's my
element.
bread and butter. My
You
problem
are,
was that I wrote the note.
Bajapante.
I wrote the note back to the girl before the talent show, dude. If I would have just waited till after the talent show, wouldn't.
Wouldn't have mattered.
But now,
Would've had it in the bag.
but now you're already a creep, and now you're
Right.
just a creep playing creep.
Creep, right, right,
That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
right, dude. There's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that.
Man, dude, it always seems like there's one, and I always get mixed. I always get fucking caught up in detox or rehab, crazy chick, or just you fall in love with a slut. It's
Those are
bad.
really your only two options.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really, really bad, man. It's like
I always stayed far away from women.
Good
when
for
I was
you.
in-
Yeah.
And it wasn't because
good for you, man. No,
it wasn't
seriously.
because of those reasons, like a slut or a crazy chick. It was because when I came off the street and was coming off of drugs, I wanted absolutely nothing to do with women.
Yeah.
I literally just wanted to blow my brains out. Like women were
Once-
the furthest thing from my mind.
Once I get that clonidine and that fucking Suboxone in me, and I'm grooving, and maybe I even lie and say, "Hey, guess what else I was taking? Xanax," and I actually pop hot because let's say, Jamil from Trenton, accidentally, he actually put a little Xanax to cut it that day. So I pop for Xanax and it lingers.
Yeah.
And they're giving me Ativan and whatever, and now my game is right because my boy's a barber. So the other day the other day I got a shape up. Like, not many addicts go to the barber when they're getting high, but when your boy is a barber, my straight edge is still looking nice. My lines are still good. Look, I don't look the best, but I probably look better than most of you guys.
Right,
And
right.
and my game is just right, dude. And where am I
I
going?
don't like where you're holding that microphone.
Where am I going with this?
I think we
Things are getting so strange. Should we wrap it up?
I think we should wrap it up. Yeah, I think we should wrap it up. Simon, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you out on here.
Pleasure. Well, I could go for 4 more hours. Right now.
Scott, also was a pleasure here. I think that we have to redo this session, whatever, over again, right? So,
What do you mean?
We'll like have him back on the show and have Scott back as the guy on the couch.
Oh, I thought you meant redo. Like,
Oh yeah, we'll
scrap this.
No. Just like another, like part 2.
Right.
Simon's
Part 2.
stash,
Okay.
part 2.
Fucking A.
A revisit, yeah.
Revisit, yeah, not a redo.
So if you're gonna visit us, you have to visit us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcast, anything of that nature. Simon's, what's your Instagram handle name? I gotta put it in the titles.
Oh, it's Dave Simons.
It's extremely fucking original.
Dave Simons, 12791.
Okay. All right. Well, so it's that. It'll be here at a nice little title right here in post-production.
Okay.
Right under your name. All right. Well, thanks for coming out, Simons. Thanks for watching the show, and stay tuned for the next episode.
Catch us at sunrise.